Sound check is done. I really hope the sound is better this week.
Do I plug it in? Or does that not matter?
I don't think it matters, honestly, anymore. I feel like we need to change the battery of your guitar. Hello, everyone out there in YouTube live land. Welcome to the Sunday service. Christopher, hello. Dreadlocks, hello. Brittany, hello. Oldest of four. Hey, guys. Welcome. Amy says, sounding good. Wonderful. Christina says hello. Hair is looking good. Thank you. I put water on it today after my run. Hello, Kelsey. Christopher says he's never received the book yet. What?
I sent it out. Sometimes it can take
Did he get tracking information? No, because he didn't pay for it. Hang on. I want to look into that because that does not make me happy. There it is. In transit. View details.
Where is it at? Stuck.
Arrival. Sparta, Tennessee. When the heck is it supposed to arrive? We sent on the 5th. We're 11 days into this. What is taking so long? Well, Christopher, don't know what to tell you. Oh, it's supposed to arrive tomorrow between 10:15 a.m. and 2:15. Here, I'm going to go ahead and put the tracking information here so you and everyone else can see it. Oh, so you can send it on Super Chat money. Go for it. That'd be great. No, it was already mailed, Christopher. But we will definitely take the payment however you want. But, I hope it gets to you well. All right. Hello, everyone. New people are joining us. Scott McKay says, howdy from the AT. I wonder if he's hiking. Oh, hey, Robert. Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday service where we are going to be reading from the book 2,000 Miles Together, the story of the largest family that hiked the Appalachian Trail. And we have some news today.
He said he is from hiking the AT.
Wow. Where are you at, Scott, on the AT? I want to know. We were in Virginia.
At this point.
Yeah. Oh, we were in the Shenandoah National Park at this point because it was Dove's birthday.
Oh, right.
And Dove's birthday was this week. She turned 20. Father Tom's Campground in Massachusetts. Oh, wow. Okay. So maybe you're not through hiking because you're so far up north.
Unless you're
So it was Dove's birthday, which means that 3 years ago, when she turned 17, we were in the Shenandoahs. Ooh, but that's a chapter in the book. I don't want to ruin it, do I? Man, we're reading so slow that we're passing by the start where we're reading, like in real life of what we're living. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, one chapter a week will do that.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Well, we have an announcement about that actually in a little bit. All right. Well, here we go. Chapter 10, Trailer Park Friends. Welcome if you're joining us. And the reason why we did this originally is because I wanted to provide a way to interact with people. And Dreadlock says, reading so slow that through hikers are passing you. That's the story of my life.
I saw Bobby today, I think. She was like, great to finally meet you.
Oh, yeah. Bobby's in Bellevue. Hello, Bobby in Bellevue. What was I just saying?
that were
Oh.
reading slow.
Well, we started reading this because we did the audiobook, but then the audiobook's like $20 or $30 or something. And I wanted to interact with people also and provide people a way for people to hear the book that didn't want to pay for it, maybe. Okay, well, we're going to start reading from chapter 10 called Trailer Park Friends.
Oh, wow.
And, Christopher Rollins just sent $30. Look at that.
Wow.
That was for the book, but I don't think that book cost $30.
It's 25 with shipping.
Cammy says it was 25 with shipping. So I don't know if we're supposed to just keep that $5. Maybe he wants to buy us a cigar or mocha. He remembers my my pleading for support in those ways.
Says pay it forward.
Pay it forward. All right, will do. Hope you enjoy the book. Should arrive tomorrow. Okay, as you guys know, we start each chapter with a quote that I took so long to decide what they were. And this quote is by Bill Bryson. Who knows who Bill Bryson is out there? Does any AT fans know what Bill Bryson's role is in the Appalachian Trail? It's a pretty famous name, probably the most famous name, I'll bet, in the world if you were to ask people about the AT. Not necessarily in the thru hiker community, but he's probably brought more attention to the AT than anyone else. Yes, Dreadlocks got it. He's the author of A Walk in the Woods, which, funny little anecdotal story, was I was doing this like major campaign to try and promote this book, and he was one of the people whose hands I wanted to get it in. And I asked on Facebook, I said, hey, does anyone know Bill Bryson's address? And it was kind of a joke because, I mean, like I have, I don't know, maybe like 1,000 Facebook friends, like not a ton. And I thought, isn't it crazy that you can say I have 1,000 friends and that's not a ton? My grandpa would be rolling in his grave because he probably had like 3 friends at a time. So 997 more friends than my grandpa, not a ton. And I asked it as a joke, just thinking people knew that I just wrote a book on the AT and they'd be like, har har. Anyways, I said, DM me. And then someone DM'd me his actual address in England, London, I believe. So I mailed him a book. And I haven't heard from him yet, so I don't know if he's read it. I'm assuming the guy's kind of busy. What?
He's old.
He's old. Yeah, old people can still read. You making? What are you saying about old people? That's mean. Anyways, that was kind of cool to be able to mail my book to Bill Bryson, which shipping over there is a lot of money. Anyways, this quote is by Bill Bryson. And it says, the greatest reward and luxury of travel is to be able to experience everyday things as if for the first time, to be in a position in which almost nothing is so familiar it is taken for granted. All right, let us begin. Go ahead and type your comments and questions while reading, and we'll try and get to them like in the breaks, but I can't focus on the screen and the book at the same time. I guess that's why you're here too. But we can swap out. Oh, and if you stay tuned, we do have a special musical guest. I'm not going to tell you who. Christopher, way to make my day. You left a review on Goodreads.
Nice.
Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. All the reviews help a lot.
I just realized we're matching today. That's a little embarrassing, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess we are, huh? All right. During our first month on the trail, we were so focused on surviving the cold and getting used to the miles that we didn't have time to feel bored. Now, the reality of walking so long with no entertainment, no books, and nothing new to talk about started to set in. And ironically, now that the days were getting warmer, the cold didn't focus our attention. Our minds wandered idle. Our new motivator became our timeline. We had 3 weeks until we left the trail for the marathon, and we were under pressure to do as many miles as possible before the race, or we'd be punished for it afterward. So far, we felt okay about our mileage, knowing that we'd have a break at home soon. And a break is in quotes, because as you guys know, our break was going to be running a marathon. We set out to do 65 miles in 4 days. At more than 16 miles a day, that was more than we'd ever accomplished 4 days in a row. We woke up at 5:30 a.m. and hiked until 8 p.m., only to start over again the next day. These goals were crazy. Back home, waking up at 5:30 a.m. seemed impossible. Man, these goals were crazy. I wish I would have deleted that line. I'm reading now about how, like, just with language,
Don't say the obvious.
well, it's not even obvious. It's like doesn't describe anything. It just
Oh yeah.
it's just filler language. Like if I would have left that line out and just wrote back home, waking up at 5:30 a.m. seemed impossible, and walking for 15 hours wasn't feasible or sustainable, people would conclude themselves it was crazy instead of me having to say it was crazy, which is stronger writing. Next time. But wanting to run the marathon gave us a purpose, something to shoot for. It felt like every mile and every calorie counted. There was still some bickering, especially when it came time for the kids to pile into the 4-man tent. But now the bickering stood out as the exception, not the rule. Most of the daily fighting had been replaced by teamwork. During our waking hours, we were either walking or resting. The kids didn't have the energy to fight. This made us reinterpret our life back home. Fighting there was common, with kids arguing over who said what, who crossed whose boundary, who left stuff out, who took someone's popsicle. Many of these fights were a byproduct of excess energy and time. We had solved this problem on the trail. We had a common goal that was more difficult than any of us thought we could accomplish on our own. More than once, we overheard the following discussion between Eden and Filia. Good job, Filia. Good job, Eden. Good job, Filia. Good job, Eden. Good job, Filia. Good job, Eden. This was like actually how this like went on for a long time.
And they weren't joking.
On and on it would go for 30 minutes or more. These types of games were how the kids passed their time on the trail. That and belting out every song they knew. They'd also come up with the hilarious habit of leaving Cammy a note spelled out in sticks, leaves, and gummy bears. Because we lagged behind with Rainier, we'd often spend hours with the only communication with our older kids being the words hurry up or good job, arranged crudely on a rock next to a little pile of gummy bears or Sour Patch Kids. Cammy had come up with a game of her own, a video series called Rate That Privy. Each outhouse we came across on the trail got a Yelp-style rating for cleanliness, privacy, and memorable features. Would you like to comment on that at all? Or like what were the 5-star ones? You're gonna have to scoot out a little.
Yeah, well, first of all, I totally forgot I did that. So that's sparking a memory for me. And well, I can't remember when I started it. I want to say I either started it in a particularly raunchy privy or a really, really nice one. It was one of the extremes.
I think it was a nice one.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Pennsylvania. Well, maybe it was, I don't know. There was a nice one in Pennsylvania, I remember. But
so if you're ever in Pennsylvania and you need to take a dump, highly recommend.
And I remember the really nice ones. There's only a handful of them. Did not smell bad at all. And I don't know how they did that, but maybe they like just built it like last week or something.
There you have it. Rate That Privy.
Mm-hmm.
You just bent my microphone down.
Yeah.
On one of those long days, we came across breakfast being served at a road crossing. Another hiker named Silver, who we'd seen for a while now, greeted us. He pointed over to the pancakes and coffee with a big smile on his face and bellowed, "The trail provides." We'd heard this phrase before, but the way Silver said it while holding the coffee and pancakes felt spiritual. Silver was a 33-year-old Jewish lawyer from New York. We easily recognized him by his outfit. He wore a black kilt and a giant silver puffy jacket that made him look like a baked potato in tinfoil, hence his trail name, Silver. Silver had unsuccessfully attempted the trail the previous year. He kept his headlamp around his neck, day or night, so he wouldn't lose it. He was on his fourth one. Did I write in here that he also wore a kilt? Did I say that? That was so memorable.
Mhm.
And I thought he had this like deep, like spiritual reason. I thought he had this deep reason for everything. And it turns out he was just kind of like, I don't know if lazy. No, it wasn't bathroom. It was so he could change his pants or something.
Oh, without having to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It was so funny. Silver pulled us aside and said, "Hey, I think it's really cool what you're doing with your family." Because of all the flack we'd gotten online, we had started to wonder if deep down, most of the hikers still saw us as not real through hikers. And it was such a boost every time a hiker said something to us that validated our effort. It was also a boost to watch our team mileage record continue to climb. We did 19.1 miles in one day, then 20.5 miles. On day 48, we found out about a hostel called Quarterway Inn. For the first 500 miles, hotels had been nice because they kept us warm, but they were expensive and impersonal. Hostels were smaller, often operated by one person or a couple, and varied from trailer parks to vast Victorian mansions. Now that we had discovered hostels and felt like we had the ability to call ahead and negotiate custom rates for our group, it felt like we had a special tool in our tool belt. For Quarterway Inn, the guidebook boasted indoor bunk room with comfy mattress. Dude, I cut and pasted this, or I copied this word for word from the guidebook because I remember reading this and we were like, it sounded like we were going to Disneyland. I'm going to start over just because it's so good. Indoor bunk room with comfy mattress, pillow, shower, towel, extensive VHS collection, pizza,
VHS.
pop, and ice cream. And here was the kicker. It included a gourmet breakfast with fresh roasted coffee. We read the description to the kids and drooled. There was only one catch. Let me finish the sentence. We had to do 21.5 miles in one day to get there.
That might have been one of 2 or 3 places that we actually got what I consider good coffee. So it was.
We managed 11.5 miles before lunch, then hauled 10 more miles in the afternoon and into the evening, running the last mile to beat the sunset. We arrived at 8:15 p.m. to meet Tina, the inn's owner. Once again, we had redefined what we thought was possible for our family. We were proving to ourselves we could do anything we put our minds to as a family. And these mileage victories mattered more to us than the opinions of anonymous strangers on the internet. The trail was testing us, but it was also nurturing us, gifting us confidence we couldn't have imagined before. Quarterway Inn, named for being a quarter of the way into the AT. Get it? It's still kind of like confusing because how many miles is a quarter? It's like 552.718 or something. Mm-hmm. Quarterway Inn was a beautiful Victorian house in the Virginia countryside. It ended up being one of our favorite hostel experiences. It functioned more like a bed and breakfast, and we had the whole place to ourselves. Tina was a previous thru hiker and had gotten tips from her favorite hostels on her trek. She cooked an amazing breakfast with biscuits, cheese grits, scones, and freshly ground coffee. In the midst of the most difficult physical challenges of our lives, crushing miles from sunrise to sunset, we ate like kings and queens in a Victorian bed and breakfast. This was the glory of through hiking. Did I say that we had the whole place to ourselves? Oh, yeah, I do say that. The next morning, Tina posted a picture of our family in front of the house. The caption said, "What a joy to have the house filled with kids. This family was a well oiled machine. And even after their longest day yet, everyone was in good spirits and health." Our confidence soared as we realized that people we met in real life actually liked us and our kids. It was a stark contrast to the distaste our virtual critics had dished out. This is so funny because, well, a couple things I want to say about this. One is, if you're ever near Quarterway Inn or hiking on the AT, highly recommend this place. The breakfast cost extra. Whatever it was worth it. It seemed like a lot of money. It was worth it. Secondarily, it was really funny because our family would come off this trail and we'd hang out with these hostel owners. And the hostel owners would kind of like see it all. You know how, like, with parenting, there's certain ways you parent that you're like, I don't really feel comfortable doing this in front of the entire universe or anyone else, really. And you can you like talk a certain way at home, and then you like talk to your kids a certain way in public. Well, with these, we'd come off of these like long days that were just like run ragged, and like these hostel owners would see everything. So it was like really wild when they like are writing about it publicly and saying like they're like bragging about our kids and stuff, because they really saw it. Like they saw how we treated each other and how the kids were and how we were after hiking 21.5 miles in a day, which was our longest day at that time. So anyways, thanks to Tina at Quarterway, and if you're ever there, stop by and say hi. You ready to read the next section? Yeah. Christopher says, after doing 20 miles, I bet you slept great. We slept great like every night, basically. It's just one of those things when you're hiking, you just sleep awesome. It's like, what's the cure to like insomnia? It's like probably walk 30 miles.
Okay. In spite of the cold, we were especially proud of our speed because of how hard the cold was hitting during this time. 7 weeks in, after a brief spate of slightly warmer weather, we were back to battling snow and hail. On day 50, we made a video that we titled Sick of the Cold. After hiking through freezing rain that day, we gained some hope when we heard from hikers going the opposite direction that there was some trail magic up ahead. On this occasion, a man was supposedly giving out beef stroganoff. In the cold, any type of warm food, comfort, or luxury was extra valuable because it served as a distraction from the pain that came from just existing outside and could take over as the primary motivation to keep going. Here's a journal entry. See that right there. And this is from Dove, age 16. After a full day of hiking and after getting all of our camp chores done, journaling felt like a difficult task. Often when we skipped it all together, or like Dove here, simply scratched out a few lines to remember the day. She wrote, "Too cold to write, powder potatoes, and 14 miles." When we arrived at the row, we saw a zipped up tent and an empty truck. It seemed the cook was hiding from us. It was a total letdown. That night, we camped with the Degenerates, Hops, our friend from the Smokies, and our new acquaintance, Silver. As we sat around the fire, everyone shared stories of coming to the sealed tent and empty truck. Hops told of how he'd waited in the bitter cold for the trail magician to try and boil water to defrost the frozen stew, but he couldn't get it going. He ended up giving the lump of frozen gravy to his dog. He was so embarrassed, he hid in his tent, hoping all the hikers would pass. There's trail magic, Hop said, and then there's trail tragic. And so a new phrase was added to everyone's vocabulary to describe those moments on trail when Murphy's Law seemed to be pulling the strings. I made it worse by sharing that I tried to get pizzas and beer delivered for everyone, but it was too remote for any pizza company to deliver out here. We all commiserated.
Dude, I tried so hard to get pizza out there.
Mm,
I even had a kid that was willing to like deliver it, but he didn't have a credit card
mm-hmm.
and my phone didn't work. So I was like, if you just buy it and use your credit card, I'll pay you when you get here. But he couldn't even do that. And it was like 40 minutes away. Oh man, we were so close to having pizza.
Yeah. We all commiserated as we ate our ramen, tuna, and dehydrated potatoes, food that we had eaten every day for almost 2 months. But our individual misery was redeemed as we shared it with our traveling friends. The kids had gathered firewood, a task most hikers didn't have the energy to do. I built a fire, everyone gathered around. Colgan passed out gin from his tent, and Hops pulled out his bourbon. Silver smoked a cigar with us as we exchanged stories of frozen extremities and took turns describing how good the pizza would have been. Dove, who was responsible for dinner, carried an extra bag of marshmallows with her. She pulled them out, and everyone gathered sticks and roasted them as we traded stories. Sharing felt natural to all of us. It was more fun to be smoking cigars together. Having limited resources added so much more value to the few resources we did have, and made it even more special when they were shared. Sitting in these Spartan conditions, we could see that without the adversity, we wouldn't be forming such powerful bonds. For a few hours, in the warm glow of the campfire and camaraderie, we forgot about the cold. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
That was a short, yeah.
Let's see. Should we? Do you want to read another one?
Sure. Yeah. A new appreciation. 1 year before we started our hike, we were driving home from a beach vacation in North Carolina when we came across a sign that said Appalachian Trail. In a moment of spontaneity, we stopped to find a spot where we could step foot on the trail for the first time, snap a picture of a white blaze, and stretch our legs from the long drive. We were the day hikers, the tourists. The road crossing was in the middle of nowhere, and as we drove around trying to find the trailhead, we passed a little convenience store and a double wide trailer home. It looked like a gas station without the gas pumps. A picnic table sat outside, and we laughed at the people standing outside wearing camouflage and overalls. We found the trail. It was a sunny day, but we were still totally unprepared. Our dog ran off chasing a deer. Then the kids ran off chasing the dog, and we stumbled after tripping over our flip flops. We eventually found the dog and all our kids, took some pictures, and said, "Someday we'll be back." Thankfully, a year later, our hiking skills had improved, but that wasn't all that changed. On day 51, our kids woke up at 6 a.m. We'd spent the night nice and dry in an abandoned church and were able to pack up in record time. The kids were excited. Word had it that up ahead was a restaurant called the Brushy Mountain Grill, and we might be able to reach it in time for breakfast. After hearing this place had incredibly good milkshakes, everyone started moving at top speed. Our gear was packed in record time, and the kids were far ahead, skipping breaks for the reward that lay ahead. 7 miles later, we arrived. It was 10 a.m., and we saw a stack of backpacks outside, which is always a friendly sight. When you are a hiker, you recognize your friends' packs just like you recognize their cars back home. And then we heard the conch shells and knew for sure that the degenerates and hops were already there.
You gotta read that again, and then we heard the conch shells.
And then we heard the conch shells. And knew for sure that the degenerates and hops were already there. The Brushy Mountain Grill was an old convenience store that sold Pop-Tarts, knockoff Hostess pies, and neon shirts with Confederate flags on them. It was one of those remote places only locals and hikers knew about. Once we arrived at the little makeshift restaurant, we realized it ran like the local outpost where everyone was friends and locals exchanged gossip. The owner sat there all day waiting for the usual customers and the few who might wander in from the trail. Once inside, we received a warm welcome. There weren't enough chairs, so somebody went to go get more right away. There were plastic lawn chairs. No one cared because any place to sit was such an amazing relief. They had power strips in the corner next to the neon sunglasses so everyone could charge their phones, the ultimate luxury for a hiker. We sat down and took a look at their menu, which didn't take long. It was essentially a bullet point list of a few items. They had biscuits and gravy, eggs, hash browns, and coffee. The degenerates had scarfed down the last of the French toast. Our family placed what was probably the biggest order this restaurant had ever received. The platter, which we all ordered, was $4. It included 2 eggs, 2 biscuits, gravy, 2 pieces of some kind of mystery meat, and coffee. We didn't stop there, though. We ordered everything else they had: corn dogs, cheeseburgers, and more. For the first time in her life, Filia had a cheeseburger and a chocolate milkshake for breakfast. I had very specific craving. Do you guys have banana milkshakes? Well, we got milkshakes and we got bananas. Never thought of that, but shouldn't be too
Dude, you gotta
tough.
do a good accent with this guy.
Okay.
Because this is
I
the
got
guy-
distracted because you have a typo. I had
Oh,
but maybe you already got
that
that.
got fixed, yeah, I think. But
Okay. Well, we got milkshakes and we got bananas. Never thought of that, but shouldn't be too tough. 5 minutes later, I was gulping down the best banana milkshake of my life.
oh, that was so good.
The restaurant owner's eyes widened when he saw how fast I'd finished it. This is the best milkshake I've ever had, I told him. I'll take another. You may be onto something. May have to consider putting that on the menu. We ate all our food and then ordered more. For each order, the owner scratched frantically on a notepad and then took the request back to what reminded us of a tiny church kitchen with a grill, a deep fryer, a freezer, and a fridge. It was a ridiculous scene, and by the end, we had ordered over $100 of this cheap food. There were no scraps left over. As we were finishing up, Silver walked in wearing his puffy jacket. Even though we'd only hiked for a few weeks with Silver, we'd grown close to him in that short time. While we walked, we talked about religion, fancy watches, cigars, living in New York City, and his long-term goals of practicing law and joining the armed forces. Silver had a sporadic way of hiking. He was known for loading up on Starbucks energy drinks in town and carrying them for 10 miles, drinking one every hour, and marching through the night. He'd cover incredible distances for long amounts of time. Then, depleted of motivation, he'd spend 2 days recovering. We called it bipolar hiking. We'd constantly be surprised because we'd unknowingly pass Silver when he was passed out at a shelter, and then he'd catch up with us from behind. Here were all of our favorite hikers in one place, sitting in chairs and out of the cold, laughing about what we'd been through to get here. It's hard to explain the energy and joy we felt as we enjoyed the simple pleasure of sitting in the equivalent of that double wide trailer, the relief of not walking after focusing only on the next step for so long. There was something special about coming from the woods and enjoying this with others. It felt like the town hall. We caught up and let our hair down. We recharged. We laughed. We told stories. Dove said it felt like a reunion with the degenerates, even though we had just seen them the night before. It was hard to leave, but we had miles to do. As we walked away into the woods, Eden stopped dead suddenly and looked around, an inscrutable look on her face. Wait, she said, we've been here before. Shocked, we realized she was right. This was where we'd been tourists the year before, where the dog had run off and the kids had chased him. This was the convenience store we'd laughed at and swore we'd never stop at. As hikers, we just spent 2 hours at that same store and spent the best $100 of our lives. 1 year ago, this location was the butt of our jokes, and now it stood as a monument of our journey, reminding us of joy, provision, and friendship. The store was the same. we were the ones who had changed.
All right. I will take over while you go get our
Music guest.
special musical guest. Oh. Okay. We have a special musical guest, but while that person is preparing, I want to mention a few things about this reading. One is if you have the book, heck, even if you don't have the book, it doesn't really matter. I just want to point out this is one of my favorite stories from the book. It's really hard. Like as through hikers, there's these things that are a really big deal to you that are not a really big deal to the rest of the world. Like,
Sorry.
we had a little spill. Everything's okay. Sorry if I hurt everyone's ears by yelling. Cammy made me do it. What was I saying? These things mean so much to through hikers and not that much to the rest of the world. Like it's hard to explain how walking into a gas station and having a hot cooked crappy hamburger makes you feel. Okay, why am I saying this? So I wrote about it, which is one thing, but we had the video from that day of the vlog from the trail is actually one of my favorites just because it captures this like I'm interviewing all these people and there's just this like energy in the background, like everyone's laughing and the kids are just having this good time. And it was like cold in the morning, but then the sun was coming up and we're all in there just like gorging ourselves. And it's just like so social. But anyways, at the back of the book, it says like, so there's epilogue, editor's note, where to find the Crawfords. Holy crap. Do you think you're talking enough here? Additional notes and resources. And like if you go to the chapter, like this one is chapter 10, right? It says gourmet breakfast a quarter way in. It says motivating kids, longest day yet. It's us getting to the quarter way in or doing our 21.5 mile day. And then it says day 51, awesome people we've met on the trail. And it shows the Brushy Mountain. It has like the link. And you can go find these, I believe, on fightfortogether.com also. So you can just click the link. Or it's easy to find if you go to our Appalachian Trail videos, just go to like day 51. But whatever. My point is, if you ever want to watch the videos that or read something in the book that reminds you of the video, you can find them easily, which is always so funny to me that some people say that we like didn't actually do the trail. Cause I'm like, there's like literally, I mean, I spent a lot of time making sure every detail is like accurate and recorded. And there's hundreds of hours of video footage, whatever. We're not going to make this about those types of people. Okay. Anything else I wanted to say about that? We had a few comments. Someone said, congratulations, Jose. I don't know. Thank you. What for? Now Christopher wants a milkshake. Man, that banana milkshake was really good. Okay. Now we have a special musical guest here, all the way from next door.
Cammy found them.
And
I found them. Okay. Cool.
I would like to welcome to the book recording studio, live and in person, Carrie Crawford. Yay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday evening service. All right, let's get into it. Someday you will die. I'll be close behind, following you into the dark. got my knuckles bruised by the lady in black. Held my tongue as she told me, son, here is the heart of love. So I never went back. And held aside that they both are satisfied. Illuminate the notes on their vacancy signs. There's no one beside you. You're so apart. I'll follow you into the dark. You and me have seen everything to see. Make up to Calvary. Soles of your shoes are worn down. Time for sleep is now. Nothing to cry about. 'Cause we'll hold each other soon. Back is the bruise. Heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied. Illuminate the notes on their vacancy signs. There's no one beside you when your soul departs. And I'll follow you into the dark. I'll follow you into the dark. Yeah. Okay.
Woo! Can anyone name the artist who performed that song originally? I'm kind of curious to know if there's any fans out there. We saw this band in Cincinnati from the bridge overlooking the venue because we could stand on the bridge for free and just listen to them.
Yep. Oh, I'm having issues. All right. Okay. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focused on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar sting. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end, and you forgot it all. I am after. I would let you down. I will make you hurt. I wore this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair. broken thoughts I cannot repair. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else. I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will let you down. I will make you hurt if I could start again. A million miles away, I will keep myself. I would find a way. Name
Wow.
that song.
No one named it, but Christopher did say 9 Inch Nails.
Yes, that's the original. Is the author.
Trent Reznor performed it, but
Yep.
this is a version that Johnny Cash adapted,
Yeah.
which we have a bit of a history of.
Oh, with this song?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the first songs that I learned how to play on guitar.
And if
So.
you go back in our YouTube history, like what, 10 years ago? No, 8 years ago, 9 years ago?
Oh, wow. That far?
Well, because we made a music video when we lost a child.
Oh, 9 years ago. Yeah.
We had a stillbirth, and we had a burial service.
Yep.
And then as a way to process it, we like recorded this song. It was actually Dove and I. Dove did the vocals
That
on
was 11, I think, at the time.
And we did this slideshow of this whole process like a year later. And it was like this
Yeah.
really emotional video. It's so intense.
Really intense.
So if you go to our videos on our channel and you sort by oldest, or if you just type in hurt, probably, I watch that video like, I don't know, like once every 6 months. And it like still kind of makes me cry.
Really? You do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And no one guessed the previous.
Oh, okay. The previous is I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie. Yeah. So this next song, the author is me, or artist, author. What do you say with the song?
The writer?
The writer? Songwriter?
I don't know.
Whatever. And this song I wrote 2 weeks ago. And I titled it Looking. Sorry, I'm going to start over. Still kind of working out the kinks of this song. Dream I dance 100 times would find you sometimes. This time I wasn't looking for you, I was looking for me. I can finally see I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. You taught me so many lessons that I can't trust myself or others. Oh, when I was just an adolescent, trying to find my way back like I was okay. I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. It can take a lifetime to heal, and sometimes 2 decades. So many layers to peel. My childhood tried to steal. I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. I can let you go. You'll never know how much you hurt me. I am free. I can let you go. You will never know how much you hurt me. I am free. I can let you go. I am free. I guess my instinct's like, woo! People probably want to talk.
Well, do you want to share what that song's about? That's pretty
intense.
Well, yeah. Every time I hear it, because you're talking about church and being hurt, and I always kind of think you're talking to God, but it's not that.
God hurt me.
And gifted moving lyrics.
Thank you.
Bobby says, "Get it, girl." And Dreadlock says, "Lots of clapping."
Thank you. Yeah, this song is about some abuse that I experienced in my teen years from a pastor at church. And I guess this song came out of me recently because I've been on a long journey of healing from this, but I feel like just the last month that I healed a pretty deep part of myself that was affected by this person and this time when I was a teen. So yeah. That is that. And yeah, you can find this on my Instagram if you want to see all the lyrics. My Instagram, Cammie Crawford.
Is that CAMMIE?
No. Definitely not. KAMICRAWFRORD.
Cammy's worst thing is when people misspell her name.
It used to be. Now I kind of take it more in stride, but I'm like, how are they supposed to know? It's not like there's an elite spelling of things, but I do shudder still a little bit when I see a Y at the end of my name. Like, but yeah, I am putting out an album. Yes, I am in a couple weeks ish. Realistically, it might be a month, but
Well, you've been saying
I know
2 weeks every week.
I know. People are like, "You're just pulling our chain." No. I'm very determined to get this done. So,
Hey, Right Voss says, "Can I ask how you are healing? Thank you for sharing your song."
I mean, there's been a lot of different ways I think that I've healed. I mean, I think in the last couple months, I was able to access parts of myself that were really deeply wounded by this time. And I was able to kind of see some things that that a part of me was still reacting to. That's like my 14-year-old self. So yeah, and I've done before that I've done some like therapy and stuff, and I'm starting to do like EMDR. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's like a therapist tool that they use. Yeah. So this song won't be on the album that's coming out, but I am hoping to, or I want to make another album.
Can I answer a 1-minute version of that, though? Because
Yeah.
I think it's really profound what you're going through, which is you came to the conclusion that a lot of ways you're reacting, specifically to me, are not because of who I am, but it's because of how you were treated and ways you developed to protect yourself in your teen years that you're still employing.
That I never moved on from, or those parts needed to be healed before I could move on from them.
Because it's been pretty dramatic, like difference last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if you caught the lyric, but the lyric that says it can take a lifetime to heal and sometimes 2 decades. Yeah, because it had been 2.5 decades since all that went down. So, yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thank you for listening. Back to Ben.
Da-da-da-da. Hang on, let me pick my nose first before I turn the camera around. That way, you guys don't have to see that us authors do such things. That everything that comes out of our body is not gold.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh, what a joke. What a joke. I crack myself up. Okay. Here we are. Back at the old book. We got a few pages left. Chapter 10, 2,000 Miles Together. If you're just joining us, the story of the largest family to hike the Appalachian Trail, the one and only. On the trail, okay, this section is called Unpredictable Relationships. On the trail, we could feel ourselves changing. We had fewer distractions. We created friendships with people we never would have appreciated back home. More importantly, the trail was helping us develop deeper friendships with our kids, and they were starting to see each other the same way. They spent time together making up games, joking, and telling each other stories. We all described our favorite meals and daydreamed out loud of heat when it was cold and air conditioning when it was hot. The trail created a completely different environment for the children and brought out traits and characteristics in them we'd never seen before. This, I want to pause for a second because a lot of what I'm describing here, a lot of people, they hear about our family hiking the Appalachian Trail and they're like, you guys are so awesome. You guys are amazing. I could never do that. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. Which is great, except for In some ways, our family is not that different. Like, it's still really, really hard to walk, and we still fight all the time, and it's, like, hard to get out of the tent. And in some ways, like, what I'm trying to describe is how amazing the environment of the Appalachian Trail is for anyone that does it. And, like, not everyone that does it is amazing. I mean, at least more amazing than anyone else. Like, everyone's amazing in their own way. Everyone's doing amazing, incredible, hard things that seem like a miracle depending on how you look at it. Um, so in a way, when people compliment us like that, I feel like it's just a way of like letting themselves off the hook in a weird kind of way. And what my point of bringing this up is the reason why I did the trail was because I think I was like really desperate to for this type of intimacy with my family. And I knew the trail or a natural, difficult challenge like this would deliver that. And I couldn't do it at home. Like, it's really hard when I'm competing with electronics and my own attention span and scrolling through Instagram and boredom and entertainment. So, like, basically, if there's anything amazing that I guess I did or we did, it was like to see that this trail has the best chance, or nature or a hard challenge has the best chance of creating these types of relational dynamics and then like committing to doing it. But I kind of think like at least my premise is that like these types of challenges could really do that for so many people. Okay, got that. Um the trail created a completely different environment for the children and brought out traits and characteristics in them we'd never seen before. It was immediately obvious to Cammy and me that the simple laser focus on their mission each day was making a big impact. They thrived having such a clear purpose, a job. Memory, you're in charge of water. Dove, you're in charge of dinner. Seven, you're in charge of editing and tense. Eden, in particular, was experiencing a whole different existence from the one she had at home. Eden had always been one to set far reaching goals, and when she set herself to a task, she invariably got it done. This had led to Cammy and I watching her closely to make sure she wasn't overextending herself, because she also tended to be pretty hard on herself for falling short of her own standards. At home, Eden had created tons of obligations for herself. She made long lists of activities every day, things she felt she had to accomplish. And this is a list of things numbered 1 through 13. Number 1, workout. 2, math with harmony. 3, study for 2 hours. I'm not going to read the numbers anymore. Clean my room, make my bed, walk the dog, edit podcast, practice music, learn Korean, read for 1 hour, do chores, do laundry, driving lesson. She constantly felt pressure to add things to the list while never feeling like there was enough time to complete it. Whereas on the trail, her list was simple: 1, walk and eat. 2, walk and set up camp. 3, eat and sleep. 4, repeat. It was a whole new way of life for her. On the trail, it was also easier for all of us to hang out together. Everything was carved out and planned. Purpose was built in. Radically it radically changed our family dynamic. Back home, everything felt muddled. There was so much to choose from that it was hard to choose, and intentionality was a constant struggle. We all lived in the same house, but sometimes it felt like the house was all we shared. It could be really difficult to connect with each family member equally. The varying age groups that lived in our house tended to gravitate towards different goals and activities. The parents wanted to read and talk over cigars, the older kids wanted to see movies, and the younger kids wanted to play video games. The trail leveled our interests and brought all the age groups together. Everyone was the same on the trail. We were all equal. The 7-year-old and 17-year-old could hike together, and they both were in charge of specific, equally important responsibilities that we all depended on. We all carried weight that benefited the group, traveling to the same destination, feeling the same sense of accomplishment. We all needed each other, not just sentimentally, practically. And in turn, practicality created sentiment we had never seen. The simplicity and challenge were bringing us together. On the trail, the 17-year-old and the 7-year-old woke up each day more the same than different. We would need this unity as we picked up speed and headed into our toughest challenge yet, the one we never could have anticipated, and that threatened our title as through hikers. Dun dun dun. That is the end of chapter 10. Then we have this section of photos from the trail. And I really wish these could be printed in color, but it was so expensive, so we didn't do that. And then next is chapter 11. And I'm just going to read the title of the chapter, and maybe that'll like get you hooked. It's called The Fire and the Big Questions. Now I want to read this comment, and I have a announcement to make that's kind of on the sad side. The Crawfords, Running Water says, the Crawfords are so very together and capable that therapy looks more attractive than ever before. I would definitely consider it to resolve and clarify. I hope you do consider it, because it's been very helpful for us, and it's not for everyone, but I think when people are open to getting help in therapy, it might be beneficial. And then this is a comment from earlier. Summer said, I'm so glad I found your story. My husband and I just had our first baby, and we feel strongly that we want to hike backpack with our children, but sometimes it seems unattainable. I know the feeling, and I hope you can at least know it's possible from our story. Okay, guys, announcement time. For now, we have made the decision that this is going to be our last Sunday service for a little bit. I'd wanted to get through the entire service or the entire book, and we're a third of the way through but two things have happened. One is not as many people have been doing this, and it hasn't been as interactive as I would have hoped. And it's not you guys' fault. I don't know if it's because it's the YouTube comment format or whether it's like reading a book or whatever, but I read this entire dang book for the audio book, and I hated it because like I spent 2 years writing it. Last thing I want to do is read it again. I'd rather write another book, and I feel like my time is better spent in I don't know, like crafting new stories instead of just like rereading the ones I already wrote. Now, if it was like more interactive, and like I said, I'm not blaming you guys, but just something about the format, it's like not, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm able to really interact with people very much while reading it. And the numbers have been like lower than we thought they might be. So it's just kind of one of those things where it takes up a huge chunk of our Sunday, and we've actually planned travels around it. And we're at least going to be taking a break. I just shared our very difficult announcement, babes. You missed it. That we're taking a break or possibly ending this project. But the second thing that came up is I was like, I never rate my own stuff, like my videos or thumbs up them. But I was like, you know what? This audiobook has hardly any ratings. I'm going to rate this audiobook. And then I realized, oh, I had to buy the audiobook, my own audiobook, to rate it. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to rate it. Anyways. But then it said like, oh, try Audible for free. And then you get the book for free. And I was like, oh, perfect, because I don't want to pay for my own damn book. So I got Audible for free. I got the book. And I even got another book because they gave me 2 books for free. And then I canceled my membership. And now I have my book. And I rated it, which, like I said, feels kind of weird, but I do think it's a good book. And I was like, oh, anyone that wants this book to listen to it on audio can get it on Audible for free. If you've never had an account, you just go to audible.com or whatever the heck, I don't know what it is. And you like sign up for the free trial membership. You download the book, you download any other book you want, and then you cancel the membership, and it's like completely free. So that's that. And I know it's not the Sunday service, and I know I'm not going to be able to argue with Cammie about trying to convince her every damn week.
Tonight, though.
You're right. Tonight, I didn't have to try and convince you. She did it on her own. But anyhow, I really have enjoyed this time with those of you that have been consistent. Amy, Wright Voss, Dreadlocks, Bobby, Christopher, the Scott, who else? Arnie's been on here lately. You know who you are. A number of people have poked their head in over the time period, and it's been really fun. Oh, yes. Christina Powell. I don't know if she's still here. She hasn't commented in a minute. Kelsey. Yes. Dunlevy. All you guys have really made this time really fun, and we're just really having to gauge
Bobby says boo.
Bobby, you live on the next block. We'll still see you. Yeah, we're constantly having to gauge how to spend our time with YouTube and new videos, and I really, really want to be writing more stuff. So, anyways, that's the idea behind that. Filia, you want to come say hi for a second? Filia's here. Arnie says, definitely we'll do the Audible free trial because I really am enjoying the reading of the book. Both your voices are pleasant to listen to. Hello, everyone. Here is Filia, the youngest female to have ever hiked the Appalachian Trail at the time she did it. We're reading the book. Pretty exciting, huh? And Amy's right, Voss says, I want to say thanks for recommending ultras. Otherwise, I might have had to cut my toe off like your dad. Holy crap. You remember that story? My dad literally got his toe cut off. And I think if he would have had ultras, he wouldn't have done it. This person says, hi, Filia. And Scott says hi. So anyways, guys, yeah, check it out on I hope you guys enjoyed this time. Check it out on Audible if you want to hear the audio more. And the book is available on Amazon. If you use the coupon code from our merch store, it's cheaper. The link is it? Oh, you know what? I was going to provide this link because if someone's going to get on Audible, I think maybe if you use this link, we get money. I don't know for sure because I think that might be if they buy my other book. I don't really actually know. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. One of the things that really helps out if you've enjoyed this time is if you leave a rating on either Amazon, Goodreads, or Audible. But you have to have listened to it on Audible like a certain amount to leave a rating. And I believe you have to be an Amazon customer to leave a review on Amazon, although you don't have to have bought the book on Amazon. But if you want to give back, those are ways you guys can help out. And maybe if enough people comment or whatever, or if we get energy, we'll do another one of these. And so the way to find out if we're going to do one of these is to enable the notifications on YouTube for our channel. That's like the little bell, which I never ask people to do because I'm all about getting rid of notifications. But if you really want to know, that's how you know. Or if you follow our Instagram page, we usually post about that, which is at Fight for Together, one word, or our Facebook page, which is Fight for Together. Or Cammy's. Well, we don't post that stuff, but we have personal Instagram accounts if you guys are looking for more. You should follow at Cammy Crawford. That's at symbol KAMY IE. Just kidding. KAMI Crawford. And then she'll keep you updated on her album, which will be what, in 2 weeks?
2 to 4.
Do you want to say anything?
I really appreciate all of you for showing up here on Sunday night for 10?
We made it 10 weeks.
Sundays, and listening to my music. Yeah, it was great to have an audience.
Yeah. All right. That's it for now, guys. We'll see you around. If you want to watch our stuff, there's plenty of other. We'll be around. We're not going anywhere.
Summer's like,
I know. I feel bad. She just binge watched to catch up. Running Water says, Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Looking forward to buying that album.
Yes. Great. I'm looking forward to getting it out in the world.
All right. And we're going to sign off one last time.
You do
the first.
You do it first.
Do you want to do it? Do you remember how to do the thing? Okay. All right. Filia's going to sign off. And you got to do it somewhere near here. Do it loud at least.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. All right.